If you're an older employee and you notice that your employer has been engaging in age discrimination toward you or towards other older workers at your workplace by treating younger people in some way better than the older ones, and you know that it's only a matter of time before they try to push you out and replace you with someone who is much younger and who they can pay much less, there are a few things that you can and should be doing before you're being terminated in order to enhance your potential age discrimination and wrongful termination case, if that's the route you think you are going to want to take. And there are a few things that you need to know that you cannot and you should not be trying to do. So let's first talk about the things that you cannot do. There is nothing you can do to physically prevent your employer from firing you if that's what they want to do, whether it's legal or not. If you're an at-will employee, if you don't have some kind of permanent status like some public employees have or some union members have, if you're an employee at a private company, the employer can terminate you for any reason at any time. And if it happens to be illegal, if there is enough evidence to bring a claim, that's something you can do after you're being terminated. You can try to go to court, you can try to negotiate a settlement, you can try to negotiate some other resolution of your potential claim, but there's nothing you can do to force the employer to continue employing you if that's not something that they want to do. Even if you win the case in court, even if you win a lot of money, or even if you settle before court for a lot of money, unless the employer wants to take you back, no one, no court, no judge, no mediator can force them to take you back once you're being terminated. Now, let's talk about the things that you can do in order to enhance your potential claim before you're being terminated. First, you need to make sure that you perform your best, that you do the best job you can until the last day before you're terminated. Why? Well, because when you bring an age discrimination claim, the employer will always try to justify your termination in one of the two ways. They're either going to say that you've been terminated because of your performance or some kind of violation, or they're going to say that it was some kind of layoff and it was a reduction in force. If you worked really, really well, and if your performance was very good, both of those arguments by the employer are not going to be very convincing. If you're a great worker, why did they terminate you for some minor performance issue or for some minor violation, especially if you've been working there for a long time? And also, if you were a good worker, why did they lay you off and not someone who is less senior and who was not as good of an employee as you were? So, when your performance is great, especially at the very end of your employment, it makes the allegedly legitimate arguments by the employer as to why you were fired much less convincing and much more shaky. The second thing you can do is to keep track of any and all potential evidence, potential facts that can be used in order to show that your employer, in fact, engaged in age discrimination. First, look around you. How many people lately, how many older employees have been replaced by younger ones? Is there a pattern that you can show? And by pattern, I don't mean 1 or 2 employees, maybe 5, maybe 10 employees, maybe more. Older employees have been replaced with much younger ones. Write down their names, write down when it happened, and write down the approximate ages of people who were terminated versus the ones who were hired instead of them. Secondly, notice how different people at work are treated differently. Are some people promoted more often than others? Are younger people promoted more often than others? What about discipline? Are younger people disciplined less harshly for violations, for the same violations that the older people are disciplined much more harshly or are even terminated for? If so, write those incidents that you notice. Another type of evidence is all kinds of comments or emails by your management toward you or toward older workers in general. Has someone been trying to encourage you or someone else at work who is older to retire? Has somebody mentioned that they're looking to hire employees who are younger, who are faster, who are more dynamic? Has someone told you or your older coworker that their ideas are old and outdated and they're not keeping up with the times. All of these comments are actual, real comments from past cases in California where the courts found these types of comments, along with other facts suggesting discrimination, to be significant evidence that proves age discrimination in those types of cases. So, again, notice the pattern of replacing older employees with younger. Do the best job you can till the last day before you're terminated, and keep track of all the evidence that would suggest any kind of animosity toward you or toward other older workers by your employer. And this will serve you very well if and when the time comes to bring that age discrimination claim against your employer, whether you're going to trial or whether you're trying to achieve some kind of pre-litigation settlement, or whether you're negotiating a higher severance. Having that kind of evidence is a very useful tool, no matter how far you're willing to go in order to seek compensation for what the employer has done to you. Thank you.